Good morning, YouTube. We are back on Lake Bill Waller this morning. I decided to go give it another try. Got here right after sunrise and I could see the fish hitting top water everywhere. So we're going to mostly try top water this morning. Since I caught that good bass here last time, I'm going to give her another shot. It is hot in South Mississippi this time of year. It's not even cool in the mornings. It's hot. It doesn't matter what. It's about 75, 76 degrees now and humid. It's about upper 70s% humidity. So yeah, it's not fun outdoor conditions, but we're going to give it a try. I was finally able to pick myself up a new Pop Max in baby bass. We're going to fish that. So we got a Megabass Pop Max in GG bass color. We're going to hit that up. And also this morning we're going to fish this Black Label Tackle Tease prop bait in bold bluegill color. I've had a lot of success on this bait in the last week or two since I bought it. So we're going to give it a shot. I'm just going to retie it though, because I caught several fish on it since I tied it last, and I don't want to make the same mistake of not retying and losing this $20 bait. This was not a cheap bait by no means. Well, I don't know, $17 bait may be a cheap bait to you, but it's not to me. Just tying a simple trilene knot. Trilene knots have been good to me, particularly lately. Since I went to better fluoro, I was having trouble with trilene knots when I was fishing with the Berkeley Vanish. I was having trouble with trilenes, but I think it was less knot and more line selection was my problem, because obviously that Berkeley Vanish is not much better than junk. I'm going to try to be fishing to this side of the boat. We're going to go up in this cove right here. This cove always catches good fish. Now that good fish I caught last time, I caught around there, but we started here, and I'm going to start here, start off this point of this land right here and work our way around this cove. Let's try to Pop Max a little. Oh, he missed it. He missed it. Oh, there's a fish. He ain't a very big one, but that's a fish. Yeah, come on in here, boy. Come on in here. We'll take you. Pretty fish. Yeah, that's a pretty fish. That's a nice fish. I'll take him. Bye, fish. Thank you for your patronage. Let me put my life at risk here and wash my dang hands. And this stupid gator hanging around here that they let be in here. In case y'all don't know it, I don't like gators. I don't care about gators. I'm not concerned with their lives, and I'm not concerned with their existence on the earth. These things are a menace. I am a conservationist. I'm a real big conservationist. I'm not an environmentalist. Don't mistake me for that. I am not an environmentalist, but I am a conservationist. But I don't care about conserving gators. And I know that everything's got its place in the ecosystem. Everything's got its place in the food chain. But I would just assume the role that gators fill be empty. Two things I can live without: gators and hurricanes. But that does give good confidence with this bait for this lake. First strike I've had on this lake with this bait. This is the Tease prop bait. I did go back to that and give it a try. I really like this bait. I've had a lot of success on this bait. So far, everywhere I've fished it, I have caught fish. I think it is a very good bait, high quality. It's high quality, it's very well made. It is a balsa wood bait. It is made locally to me by Black Label Tackle. They're out of Petal, Mississippi, which is about 70 miles north of me. So they are semi-local to me. They make crankbaits, and they make this Tease prop bait. Their crankbaits are top-notch as well. I'm seeing a lot of fish activity this morning, but only 2 of them have been interested in my bait. The lake needs some fresh water in it. There hasn't been much rain. We've not gotten hardly any rain here lately. Needs some fresh water in it. It's starting to smell like a farm pond that the cows have been in. Let's give the old Pop Max another try. So this is a 1/2 ounce bait, this Pop Max. It's either a 1/2 or a 5/8 ounce. The Tease prop bait's only a 3/8 ounce bait. These are both 6 foot and 10 inch poles. So that 1/2 ounce will launch a lot further. This is an absolutely beautiful morning. It will be perfect if it was about 20 degrees cooler. All right, so let's talk about why this color and the bold bluegill color that I'm using on the Tease prop bait. Notice this is a solid color, shiny bait. Or if you watch my shorts that I've made the last week or so, you'll know that I said that a shiny bait you want to use on a bright sunny day. And you want to use a solid colored bait in darker water or a darker day, such as a cloudy day. So the conditions that I have here today in this lake is it's bright and sunny. This is a bluebird sky today. Very few little wispy clouds. So I'd want to use a shiny gloss bait instead of a matte colored bait. On top of that, this water is very darkly stained. I don't know, you can't see it, but this water is about the color of sweet tea. A little bit darker actually than sweet tea. So therefore it is okay for me to use a solid color bait even though it is a bright sunny day. Now, I'm also in the shadows here. I'm in the shadows, so I want the flash because it's bright and sunny, and I need the dark. I want to use the solid color. I want to use the solid color because I have darker water. Now, when the sun gets directly overhead, if I still want to fish top water, it would probably be prudent to change over to a more translucent bait. You can also think about sun angle as well. Like for instance, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to be made my way around to the sunny side of this cove. I'm still going to want to fish a shiny bait because it's bright and sunny out. So I want to fish a gloss colored bait. But I'm still going to fish this solid color, even though I went around to the sunny side of the cove, because the sun angle is so low in the sky that it's going to affect the fish's eyesight to the bait. The fish, remember, their eyes are on the side of their head. So fish see this direction and they can also see up. But if the sun is at an angle to them, coming towards them over here, from this direction I'm fishing this side, the sun is going to be here on the fish. If the bait's above their head up here, then they're not going to pick out flaws as well with that bait. So I'm still going to use a solid color bait. Now, this color choice that I have used, this is the GG Bass color. I'm choosing this color because number one, this bait has a history with me of catching fish. Number two, this time of year the bass have spawned and the fry are starting to get up about yay big. They're probably not quite as big as this bait yet, but they're starting to grow. Therefore the bass will be feeding on the fry, because remember, bass are cannibals. So I chose this color for that reason. Also, this is a nice darker color. Even though it's a bass pattern, it's still a darker color. And down here in the south, the darker colors tend to catch more fish down here because our water is a darker color, so it matches the water better. When I was here 2 weeks ago, the young bass, about that long, were chasing the fry bass about that long, all over the place. At first I thought they were chasing shad, but when I finally got a look at what they were chasing bass. This lake does have shad in it, however, which is why I suspected they were chasing shad. It's real slow this morning, and one of the reasons why it's real slow is right now we've got a very, very strong high pressure system over us. Pressure's real high. We got bright, sunny bluebird skies, and it's hot. The water temperature right now is 90. It'll probably get up to 94, 95 at the surface later today. The air temperatures have been being, in the heat of the day, have been being 100, 97 to 100. Thus, it's made the fishing tough, y'all. Made fishing real tough. I've had a little bit of success in the evenings on worms, and I've had success in the evenings on topwater. Most of my bites have come from topwater the last probably 3 weeks. This is the tough time of year, especially down here in the south. Down here in the south, from now, this is June the 20th, Saturday, June 25th. And down here in the south, June, July, and August. And I know it's this way in other parts of the country, but it's really exaggerated down here in the south because of the deep south, because of our weather, because of our temperature, our heat and all. Down here in the deep south like this time of year, from now until about September, this is tough. It's real tough bass fishing. Them old lazy big ones, they not gonna do much. You catch the little dinks, little turd tappers. In my experiences, this time of year in the south, the most consistent bite that I've had on decent, or what somebody would consider a keeper fish, in the 1 to 3 pound range, has been topwater. Frogs, poppers, prop baits, things of that nature. Don't that thing sound good? Man, that thing sounds good. One thing I like about this bait, this Tease prop bait, is it's got really good props on it. A lot of times you get a prop bait, especially the Chinese made ones. Anything made out of Chinesium, they've got these thin little props on them that are just fragile, and it doesn't take anything to bend them up, destroy them. They won't spin right. They won't make sound right. This bait is not like that. This bait has thick props. I bent one when I caught a fish the other day off camera. It was tough to bend it back. I thought I was gonna have to get the pliers to bend it back. It's got good props on it. I really like it. It's got good hooks on it. I did not have to change the trebles. I'm very pleased with the trebles on this bait. I don't know what kind they are, but they are a strong treble. Very well made. They look like they might be a mustad. They're either a mustad or a gomakatsu. It's just all around, it's a very well made bait. The finish on it is very tough. Well, the camera overheated, so I had to throw it in the ice chest for a few minutes. And I had to get a backlash out of my reel. Y'all might laugh at me about my backlashes, but I'm gonna tell you something. There's two kinds of fishermen in this world that fish bait casters. There's the kind that backlash them, and there's the kind that lie and say they don't. I freely admit I backlash mine all the dang time. I backlash them so much, I'm really proficient at getting the backlashes out. Fish feeding over here though. I can't reach them with this bait. Over there where they're feeding, but I can reach them with this one. Y'all not gonna be able to see it on camera, but I'll let y'all know if I catch one. Over among them. Well, the camera overheated, so I didn't get this on camera, but I got one more. That's what's underneath them little bass. Bye, fish. Thank you for your patronage. Now, in about the last 10 minutes, what has happened is the yearling bass have turned on and started actively feeding on the fry. in the area. Now what that could mean is that you're just going to catch yearling bass, but it could also mean that the larger bass start feeding underneath them. I'm going to ease out from under this power line and ease over into that area right there where a lot of feeding is going on, and fish a little bit, and then I'm going to go home. They're not particularly interested in this bait. They have struck at it a couple times, I think mainly because it's in front of their face, but they're not really interested in it. And that would be because the fry they're feeding on are only about that big, whereas this bait is 10 times that size. However, if larger bass are feeding on those smaller bass underneath, then this bait will be exactly what we need, because it is bass colored. The fish are not necessarily feeding top water right now. They're feeding near the top. But if they are feeding near the top, that means they are in an active state. If they are in an active state, then that means they are very inclined to hit the top water, bait. It is very likely that, that somewhere in the vicinity of all these smaller fish that are actively feeding and have been turned on, it's very likely that somewhere in their vicinity is some old sow-bellied double-digit bass that would be very obliged to grab this larger lure and make a meal out of it. Well, folks, I am headed back to the dock. The camera just overheated for about the 7th time. I just had to put the last battery in it. It is probably about 95 to 97 out here right now. The bass are feeding. Been a slow morning, been a real slow morning. Only caught 2, which is more than I usually catch at this lake. Caught 2 decent fish, one about 12 inches, one about 15 inches. It probably went 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. So, I am hungry, I am hot, and my feet are hurting. So I'm gonna call it a day. And until next time, as always, this is Hyckory Styck, and y'all have a good one.